Hi there, I'm Dr. Claire Ashley. I'm a portfolio career GP and welcome to my brand new YouTube channel. After I qualified as a GP, I went through a very painful and difficult time where I developed stress, anxiety and burnout. I have now come through that period and I'm in a much better position. I feel like I'm able to manage my stress well. My passion now is to ensure that all healthcare workers are able to prioritise their mental health and their mental well-being, and to ensure that all healthcare workers are able to create careers that are enjoyable, fulfilling and sustainable. I'm hoping to be using my channel to share some of the things that I learnt after I burnt out, so that you don't have to go through the same thing that I did. I'm starting my channel by talking a little bit about my career. One of the things that I did in order to protect myself from stress and anxiety and burnout again was to create a portfolio career. Now, most people, when they have a job in healthcare, they have one employer, they go to one job and that's what they do all the time. A portfolio career is where you have lots of little different jobs and you do them on a part-time basis. The week I picked to share with you was a week that contains all of my jobs. So being an out-of-hours GP, being an NHS GP, being a private GP, and a little bit of my own business as well. However, during the week that I picked, we went into a national lockdown. So it's ended up being a little bit of an atypical week, but I think it's a good opportunity to show you a little bit about what I do and how I structure my week. My job does change on a weekly basis. No week is exactly the same. This variety is one of the things that helps keep my job fresh and helps keep me protected from the worst of the fallout from COVID and also from stress and anxiety. So here's the video. I hope you enjoy it. If you like the video, please hit subscribe and I will be sharing more content with you very shortly. Hello, so it is New Year's Day. It is just coming up to 1 o'clock. I'm doing a triage shift in out of hours today, so I'm working from 2 until 6, which is remarkably civilised, and I'm quite impressed with past Claire for booking a civilised shift on New Year's Day because it meant I could stay up last night. So yeah, I'm just gonna get in my car shortly, head off to work and then be home at a reasonable hour in order to put my children to bed. Working on a bank holiday can be quite unpredictable in terms of the volume of work. So obviously yesterday was New Year's Eve. I'm hoping that because this is the first day of the bank holiday that it won't be too busy because obviously GP surgeries were open yesterday, but these things can be very unpredictable, so who knows. In terms of the triage shifts, we work in an office building in South Bristol. It is possible to work from home, but they only have a certain number of logins. So quite often, unless you're self-isolating or if there's a really good reason why you can't go into the office, say you're clinically vulnerable, you are expected to be physically in the building. But actually, I quite like that. They're very strict about social distancing and wiping down all our workstations, so it feels safe. Also, you're with other people. So if you've got a clinical query, you just have to go to the next room to speak to the clinical coordinator. If you need to kind of sort out logistics, you can go speak to the shift manager. All the team is based there. It's different to when you're working in a clinical base, for instance, where you have to pick up the phone and quite often, you might take 5 or 10 minutes to speak to someone because they're very busy. The shifts are slightly different to working in base, but I'm looking forward to it today. Hopefully it'll be a nice civilised shift. Also, because it's New Year's Day and because I'm in the office and I don't have to wear my scrubs, I've decided to jazz it up in my Christmas jumper before I retire it for yet another year. So hopefully that will give me a bit of a boost, albeit a small one, to keep me going during the shift. Hi, so I've just got back from my out-of-hours shift. It's 7 o'clock on New Year's Day. I couldn't do any filming at work because I was working in an open plan office with lots of other doctors and kind of talking to patients on the phone and doing video consultations. So it wasn't really appropriate for me to get my camera out and start filming people, unfortunately. So today, kind of rocked up at 2. I was actually a couple of minutes behind my scheduled arrival time because I ended up driving behind a tractor on my way there. So yeah, West Country life problems. I think there were about 120 patients waiting for phone calls when I arrived, and I think it was much the same when I left. So basically, in terms of how it works in out of hours, that's when your GP surgery is shut. So GP surgeries are commissioned to be open from 8 o'clock in the morning till 6:30 at night, Monday to Friday. So on bank holidays such as today, even though today's a Friday, GP surgeries are closed. So on those occasions, bank holidays, weekends, overnight, patients don't call their GP surgery if they need medical advice. They call 111. And then what 111 do is they will ask the patient some questions, and then according to the answers to those questions, they'll then direct them to A&E, send an ambulance, direct them to a minor injuries unit. But sometimes what they do is they direct them for GP advice. We cover the whole of Bristol, the whole of South Gloucestershire, the whole of North Somerset. So we cover a large geographical area and a huge number of patients. And then in the triage shifts, which is what I was doing today, basically 111 forward on the details of the patient to us, and then we get a list of every patient that needs to be called. 111 will triage them to either have an emergency response time, which is like within 15 minutes or half an hour, I can't remember, it comes up as red on the screen. And then other patients might be triaged for a half-hour callback, an hour callback, 2 hours, 6 hours, 12 hours or 24 hours. But quite often what happens is that the volume of calls is so much, those times are breached. So what we also have is a separate column that tells us how long that patient's been waiting for, and it goes black if they've breached their time. We also have a team of people that call patients and safety check on them. So these are non-clinical staff who call the patients to ensure that they are all right, their symptoms haven't changed, things are not deteriorating, because if they are, then they get bumped up the queue. What we also have is we have a screen that tells us which patient to call next. So quite often when I'm working, there are so many patients to call that you just don't know who to call next, who is the priority. So what the support team do is they go through all the patients and they pick out the worrying symptoms and the people that have been waiting the longest. And so they get put onto the message of the day. So when I go start working, I open up message of the day and then I just make my way through that list. Makes it a lot easier for us as clinicians. Otherwise you spend a lot of time kind of reading through and thinking, who am I supposed to be calling? Oh, well, this patient's got breathing difficulties, but then this patient's got chest pains, and it's really difficult to work out sometimes kind of with the sheer numbers, how to prioritise. So I'm a big fan of the message of the day. Cases that I've dealt with tonight. So obviously triage shift is exactly what it says. So I speak to people, I either try to sort out their problems on the phone or via a video consultation, or I then decide that I can't deal with it remotely, and I then either book them in to have a face-to-face review in the out-of-hours setting or to have a home visit. Alternatively, sometimes I do advise patients to call a 999 ambulance, but luckily that is very rare. So that's out of hours in a nutshell, basically. So tonight was fine. Last patient I spoke to has got COVID, and they're kind of a borderline case for admission. So that was a little bit challenging. Other things I've dealt with, babies with skin infections. I spoke to quite a few professionals, so I spoke to a couple of rapid response nurses about cases in the community. I spoke to a care home about a patient with raised blood pressure. So yeah, a wide variety of cases today. Tomorrow is the 2nd of January, which is a Saturday, and I am working from 6 till midnight doing a visiting shift. So I'll share what I'm up to with you guys then. Hi, so it is Saturday the 2nd of January and I have just arrived at work for my visiting shift today. It's 4 o'clock, I'm on until midnight. Let's hope that we're gonna have a good shift. Stopped off for a Costa, which is an essential. And here we have the car that hopefully I'll be going out in later. Here we are in my room. As you can see, it's a nice big room, and here's the computer and the phone. So what I'm going to do now is get logged in. Got my coffee, I'm all ready to go. Hello, so I've now logged into the computer. I can't show you it because obviously it's got patient details on it and I have to maintain confidentiality. So what I've done is I've logged into EMIS, which is the computer system that we share with GPs in the community so we can access patient records. I've logged into Adastra, which is the platform that we use. We have got, I think, 181, let me just have a look, 182 phone calls waiting to be answered. I've also opened our message of the day, which is the spreadsheet that tells me which patient to call, because obviously with 182 patients, it's really difficult to know how to prioritise them. So we've got the first patient on there is a 5-week-old baby with concerning symptoms. So I'm gonna crack on with that. Sadly, there are no visits to be done at the moment, but fingers crossed I get to go out later because I find it just breaks up the day a little bit and makes your shift go a little bit quicker. Hi, so it is Sunday the 3rd of January and I'm about to head into work. So yesterday, unfortunately, because when I went out in the car it was really dark, I wasn't able to do any filming. So I just thought I would explain what happened yesterday. So yesterday I saw 2 patients which we went to visit. We have a car that we go out in, we also have a driver. The driver is there for our safety and they're also there to kind of make the whole thing a little bit easier as well. So in theory you can type and drive at the same time, although personally I can't do that because I get travel sick and I just want to vomit everywhere if we do that. So for me it's no quicker, but it's a lovely sociable experience because you get to talk to the driver, have a bit of banter, just makes the shift go a little bit quicker, a little bit easier. I also saw 1 patient face to face yesterday and the rest of the consultations were all by telephone or by video consultation. So yeah, I got back at about, 12:30 and got into bed at about 1. I'm just about to head off, start my shift at 4 o'clock, doing the same again, doing a visiting shift, but again, I don't know how many visits there are going to be, how many people I'll see face to face. Just got to wait and see when I get there. Hi, so it's Sunday evening and I'm at work. I arrived at 4 o'clock and went straight out in the car to assess a patient in a nursing home. That patient unfortunately had an upper GI bleed, so I've now admitted them, although it turns out that our local hospital has COVID on every single ward. So whilst they are accepting patients, they're then transferring them to hospitals in Bristol, which is incredibly worrying and a bit of a disaster, to be honest. So that's not good. So then I've come back to base, just triaged a baby, and now I'm about to head out and see another patient in the car. Hi, so it is Monday the 4th of January. Today I'm not working, I have a day off. I finished at midnight last night having done my out of hours shift. It was a fairly manageable shift. I saw a couple of patients in a nursing home and at their own home, and the rest of it was doing telephone and video triaging in the shift base. And we were relatively well staffed last night, so it was all very much manageable, which was good. Today is a day off. In terms of the rest of my week, I'm working tomorrow doing some private GP work. Wednesday I'm doing my salaried job, Thursday I'm doing some more private GP work, and Friday I'm meant to be working in my aesthetics business, but we're likely to go into some sort of lockdown or at least go up a tier. We're tier 3 at the moment, so I'm not holding out much hope that I'll be able to work in my aesthetics business on Friday, but we'll see. So yeah, like I said, today's a day off. I have an interview today with Doctors Association UK to join their GP committee, and I've also got loads of emails to do to sort out stuff for Friday. Even though it's a day off, I will still be doing my emails, and I'll also be doing my DMs on Instagram and posting to Instagram as well. Hi, so it is Tuesday the 5th of January. My working week has kind of been turned a little bit topsy-turvy because last night Boris Johnson announced that we were going into the 3rd national lockdown. And so that means that my medical aesthetics clinic on Friday has had to be cancelled because I'm not allowed legally to work. So last night I spent quite a bit of time emailing the patients that were booked in and basically just clearing the decks essentially. So unfortunately that means I won't be doing my aesthetics come Friday. Today I'm working from home, working for a private company doing GP consultations. So this job is relatively flexible. I'm contracted to work a certain number of hours a week. But it's an annualised contract, so there is relative flexibility in how I arrange that, and all I have to do is to hit my target hours every 3 months, and as long as I do that, then they're happy for me to work as and when, basically. So normally what I do is I work Mondays and Tuesdays. Gosh, the sun's come out and that's very bright. Hopefully that's a little bit better now. So yeah, normally I work Mondays and Tuesdays for Dr. Care Anywhere, which is the private company I work for. This week is slightly different because I worked over the weekend doing out of hours. I've adjusted my working days. So this week I'm doing Tuesday and Thursday. So I've already done a 2-hour shift this morning. I started at 8, I did 8 till 10 and saw 6 patients back to back. We had some quite tricky stuff, but also some very, very routine stuff as well. And then I'm fully booked from 12 until 4 this afternoon. And then after that, I'm going to go get my COVID jab, which I have finally been offered. So I'm going to dash off after work. Now this morning, I accidentally slept in, which is very unfortunate because normally my son, who gets up before 7 a.m, would have come and woken me up. My alarm did not go off, and so I got woken up at 7:30 and I start work at 8. But one of the advantages is, obviously when you're working from home, is that you're only commuting from upstairs, my bedroom's up there, to my computer, which is just there. So luckily I didn't start late. I wasn't even flustered because I've been able to have like a cup of tea and my breakfast. The only thing I haven't done is had a shower yet, but I will do that very, very shortly. Right, let's crack on. Hi, so I am kind of halfway through my day working from home, doing my private work. I worked from 8 till 10 and then I'm doing 12 till 4. The sorts of problems that we've dealt with today are kind of a lot of musculoskeletal problems, so foot pain, plantar fasciitis, knee pain. I've had a couple of those today already. But then also at the other end of the spectrum, we do get kind of more complex things. For instance, I spoke to someone today whose spouse is alcohol dependent and things are really, really escalating at home. So that was not a quick consultation. Obviously, that's quite tricky. So it's been a bit of a mixed bag. Hello. So it is Wednesday, the 6th of January, and I have just arrived at my NHS job, NHS surgery. So here's my room, all set up, ready to go. I'm just about to log in and see what delights await me today. So I have just logged in to work. So we don't pre-book any appointments. We use Ask My GP, which is kind of like an appointment system. So we don't pre-book anything in bar the kind of medicals or 6-week checks. So I have got a 6-week check booked in for 1:30 today. That's the only thing that is in my diary. And I have just opened up my appointment requests and it's first thing in the morning and I've got 15 people to call already. So I'm gonna get on and do that now. Hi, so it's Friday. I was working yesterday on Thursday doing some more private health stuff. I worked 8 till 5 and I didn't get around to doing a video recording of that. So I'm sorry about that. But basically my commute was from like here to my desk. So in terms of doing the private work, basically I just work from home. All you need is basically a room with a lock so that you're not going to be interrupted. Obviously, all your consultations have to be confidential, an internet connection and a device that you can type up notes on. So as long as you've got that, then you're pretty much good to go. You get appointments booked throughout the day. I had a couple of hour breaks. They don't allow you to work more than 4 hours without taking a break, which is good. Far better than working in the NHS because it's very tricky to take your breaks when you're working in the NHS. And yeah, yesterday was a full day. It was pretty full on, but I managed to finish on time, which was good. Today is Friday. I would normally be working in my aesthetics business. So this is part of the reason why I picked this week, because you would have got to see what I do in my aesthetics business. I do Botox, I do fillers, I do medical grade skincare, medical grade facials. I treat conditions such as acne, hyperpigmentation, fine lines and wrinkles, and chronic inflammation, so sensitive skin and rosacea. And I also offer kind of skin rejuvenation. So I do microneedling, which is really fantastic for kind of plumping up the skin and treating scarring, fine lines, wrinkles, pigmentation as well. But unfortunately, I'm not there because on Tuesday we went into a national lockdown. So instead, today's my day off, but I'm spending a lot of time trying to kind of sort out my admin and my paperwork and all that, all my social media and all my emails, which basically I've been neglecting for the past week. So what I'm going to do is crack on with that. Also got some homeschooling to do. I'm going to take the kids out for a bit later, hopefully do a little bit of exercise, and then I'm off for the weekend. I have been asked if I could do some out of hours work, but because I did out of hours last weekend and I did 3 days in a row, today's only my second day off this week, and actually I think given the situation that we're currently in, I'd quite like to have that time off, but I might take on some more work next week. And then the other thing that I haven't had this week, alongside my aesthetics, because I've not pushed it actually, is I've not done any coaching or mentoring. So I do offer one-on-one mentoring services for healthcare professionals. What I like to do is I like to take on people who are are experiencing career indecision, career fatigue, who might be struggling a little bit with stress, anxiety, burnout. Basically, what I want is to take on people who were very much like me 18 months ago, because I've gone through a very long and painful process in trying to help get myself into a better position. I've done some courses on coaching and mentoring. Now I'm keen to share what I've learnt with everyone else. So normally I would say I'd have between 1 and 2 people booked a week. Generally speaking, the sessions are in the evenings when I can guarantee that the children are in bed and I'm not going to be doing any NHS or private work. And what happens is people can book through the website. It's possible to have like a 15-minute discovery call, which is free, and then you can book a session with myself and then we have a chat, and I send some questions out beforehand asking you what you want to achieve from the session, what goals you've got, so that I can tailor how we kind of structure things in the session. So that's the only thing I haven't done this week that I normally do, but it's the first week of the new year. We have gone into lockdown. It's been a bit of a full-on week, and I think we're all adjusting to the fact that we're now in lockdown and the fact that there are huge pressures on the NHS. But yeah, like I said, normally 1 or 2 people a week with that. And what I find really amazing about that job is the satisfaction I get out of it, because one of the reasons why I love medicine is because I'm using my medical knowledge and my medical skills to make a positive impact on people's health and people's lives. But with the coaching and the mentoring, I get to have that same impact on healthcare professionals, and I really love that. So there we have it. That's the end of my week. I hope you've enjoyed it. I have been able to show you all of my jobs, bar my aesthetics, with the national lockdown. Unfortunately, I would have been able to have done quite a lot of filming with that. I am planning on sharing a lot more stuff with you guys going forwards with regards to stress, anxiety, burnout, mental health of healthcare professionals. So if there's anything that you'd like me to cover in particular, please let me know and I will prioritise it. Thank you.